Hi everybody, hope you are doing well. Welcome back to the second lesson of Excel, which still deals with formatting. Where can you find this lesson? Let's just go into Blackboard. I have opened it already. We go to the home page, content. You scroll right down to the bottom and you will see there practical Excel intro formatting. Exercise 1 is what we did last week. Exercise 2 is what we are doing this week. There is a question paper and there is a data file, which is an Excel spreadsheet. I have already downloaded both. This is the question paper. I'm not going to do every single activity with you because some of them are from last week. But effectively, when you are finished, this is what it is going to look like. So we have given you an example. I'm going to briefly deal with each of the issues in the questions today, show you one or two new things so that you can continue and do activity number 2. You are given a data file that looks like the following. Let me make it a bit bigger so that you guys can see it on my screen. Okay, and it is the SA crime spreadsheet once again. The first thing we are going to deal with is inserting borders. Now I want a thick outside border and I want thin inside borders. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to highlight from A1 all the way through to G13. I'm going to, on top of my selection, right click, Format Cells. I'm going to go to Border. I'm going to choose a thick line and I'm going to choose Outline. And it's showing you here at the bottom underneath what it will look like once you have made your selection. I will choose a thin line and I will choose inside, and it's going to show you we now have a thick outside border with thin inside border lines. When I click OK, there we go. We are going to have our borders inserted. So just remember, you make your selection, you right click, you choose Format Cells, and all of your menus are there. The next thing I would like to do is to move the SA crime sheet to the beginning. It is at the beginning already, so in our case, if I click at the bottom here on the worksheet, I can move them around. So if SA crime was not at the beginning and I wanted it at the beginning, I would simply click on my SA crime. You'll see there's a little arrow that appears and we move it to where it should belong. The next issue I'm going to deal with is how to sort from A to Z or Z to A. I am going to highlight my province, just my provinces, and I am looking on my ribbon here for sorting. Now you should see a little A to Z. I go to, typically it is under data, so we are now working with the different tabs. I choose data, I highlight my provinces, and in this case I would like to sort in descending order Z to A. So there is descending order, there is ascending order, and be aware it does say lowest to highest, highest to lowest. Now I would like you to look here what happens when I click on the button. It's telling me that I have just selected one column. Must I sort everything together? you always tell it yes, expand the selection, and I'm going to choose sort, and you will see it has started with W and it's gone right back up to E. So it has resorted all of those columns. The next thing we would like to have a look at is going to page layout. And there are two commands on the ribbon that we are going to look at for this. And the one is the margins of the sheet. When I click on that, we have normal, wide, and narrow. And that would be the margins of your page. I am going to choose, in this case, narrow, as per the question. You won't see any difference because you need to look at the document in your print layout view. So what I'm going to do is File, Print, and it will show you here how it would actually print on an A4 page. And in this case we have a narrow margin there. If I go back and I choose a wide margin, once again File, back to Print, you will see I have a wide margin there, but in this case it has pushed it over the edge of the page, so I am not seeing everything. That is not what I want. So let's go back there and we choose margins, narrow, and then once you have done your formatting, we can also look at the orientation, and I'm going to change the orientation from portrait to landscape, the same as we do in Microsoft Word. So that is on landscape. Let's go and take a look at landscape with narrow margins. Let's go and have a look at our print preview, which is Home, Print, and there you will see how we can lay it out with a narrow margin and the landscape layout. Right, the next thing we need to take a look at here, and students please pay attention because this one can get not tricky, but I don't want it to confuse you. If you look in the bottom right hand side where you make your document larger and smaller, there are three views. There is your normal view, which we are in. There's a page layout view, and there is a page break preview, which we don't normally use. We use normal and page layout. Now in the questions it's asking us to add both a header and a footer. Now a header and a footer, if I go to my page layout view, you will see there is a space here to add a header, and at the bottom of the page a space to add a footer. There are two ways to do this. I can go Insert, Header and Footer. You may explore with that, but I prefer to do it this way, where I simply click on the page layout view. I go to my header. I will type in here my name, for example, my group, I am F and G, and once I've clicked on the header, I get my header and footer tools at the top. That only shows up once you have clicked in the header, and I would like to insert the current date there. Don't worry that it says and date. Once I've clicked out of my footer, the date, my header, the date will appear there. When I click at the bottom here, again comes my header and footer tools. You need to click on them. In this case, I'm simply going to insert a page number. Again, do not worry that it says and page. Once you have clicked out of that area, it will say the page number. So effectively what we have done is we've added a header which is above your worksheet, and we have added a footer which is below your worksheet. This is typically going to appear in an examination, so please take care that you know how to insert headers and footers. The next thing we're going to cover in today's lesson, now I'm going to go back to normal view because it is easier for me to work. I am currently in page layout view where I can view my header and footer. If I go back to normal view, you will see the header and footer are not showing even though they are there. Should you wish to see them again, you simply go to page layout view and they show up again. So I'm going to be working in normal view to continue because it is effectively easier. The next thing we are going to cover is autofill. Now I think what I should do before I try and work with autofill on the spreadsheet is show you what autofill is and how it works. If I have a column and I want to number them, let me center that so that you can see it, and I'll make it bold. I want to put here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to make a list. If you take your mouse and you go to the lower right hand corner of that cell you are working with that you would like to autofill, you will see you get 3 different cursors. That is to select on the cell, that is to, the next one is to move the cell, and then finally what we are looking for, which is a clear black cross, which is autofill. I can drag it down and it will automatically fill for me. However, ones is not what I wanted. So sometimes you want to autofill the same thing. Excel does not understand what I'm asking for, so I'm going to give it a clue here. I'm going to put 2 and I'm going to put 3. So I am telling it where I would like to go, my list to go when I autofill. Let's center that and make it bold. Now, last time it just filled with ones. I would like it to fill consecutively with numbers, so I've given it a clue. I have filled out the first 3 for it, and I'm going to highlight those first 3. I will go to autofill, and you will see it has automatically created the numbers there for me. That is called autofill. The same can apply to dates, numbers, formulas, and whatever is in that cell. This is an extremely useful feature, especially when you're copying down formulas. You do not have to type a formula in every single cell. You simply use autofill. I'm going to delete this and just show you that it can work with a date as well. So 02 If you have a look, it is changing my format because it's understanding that I want a date. If you don't want that date format, you can simply right click, format cells, you choose the type of number. I'm going to choose here date. Watch very carefully, and I'm going to choose that format of date. So you have various options, and you will be asked within an examination to change these date formats. So I've chosen specifically date, and I've chosen specifically that one that I would like to use. There we go. Let's left align these. Now, the nice thing about autofill is when we start getting more complex items that we would like to fill, autofill can help us with this. I am telling it where I want to go. For example, I could be making invoices. I've highlighted those two cells to tell it I want it to go 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. When I copy down, there we go. It's copied it down for me and it's put in the days. It's picked it up. It understands exactly what I wish to do. Very, very handy feature. So I'm going to go back to my SA crime spreadsheet. And what I would like to do is insert a column at the beginning. But if you have a look now, my formatting has gone wrong. We will fix that now. And I would like to simply type in there SACN01, South Africa crime number 01. In this case, I am not using consecutive autofill. I'm using the same autofill, so I only need one cell. It has copied that down and added it up for me. That's not what I want. So let me show you a different way to do this. I'm going to simply copy that, highlight my cells, and when you choose paste, at this stage you choose the first one. I'm going to paste them in there. Now my borders have become changed because I've inserted a new row. Let's just simply go back, highlight my selection through to H13, A1 to H13, format cells, border. I'm going to choose none because it's a mess. I'm going to choose the thick line. I'm going to choose outline, so it will show me the thick line along the outside there. I'm going to choose the thin line, and I'm going to choose inside. There we go. My borders are back. If I would like a thick border just around the heading, I would highlight just the heading. We have a problem here because we have inserted a column, so I need to go back and merge and center those. There it is under the Home tab. There we go. Merge and center. I see my column is not high enough, so I double click as we did in the last lesson to auto fit. Finally, that is all for today. So I would just like to recap on what we have had a look at. We had a look at inserting borders. Let's put a thick border around that one. Right click, format cells. I'm going to choose a thick border and I'm going to say OK, and it's going to, why did that not work? Format cells. I want a thick border. I want outline, which I forgot to click just now. I tell it OK, and there is my thick border around outline. So we dealt with borders, which is going to take a bit of practice on your part, but please use those menus and practice the borders. Then we had a look at sorting A to Z, Z to A, which you will find under Data, A to Z, Z to A, descending, ascending, or largest to smallest, smallest to largest if you are working with numbers. Then what we had a look at with was autofill, and I gave you my example of autofill using dates. Very, very handy feature. You are going to use it quite extensively. Then We had a look at inserting a column, fixing all the borders and so on. Once you've inserted a column, you have to go back and redo your borders. There is no way around that. And then we had a look at finally our print preview. File, print, and it's going to show me how it will print. And this one is in landscape with a narrow margin, which is what we asked for. There is a way to center this in the page, but I will show you that in another lesson. We can have a look here. We can go to page layout, margins, custom margins. I may as well show this to you today. So let me show you that again. I go to page layout, margins. I'm ignoring normal, wide and narrow this time. I'm choosing custom right there at the bottom. And it's actually showing you on your page that you can adjust each margin, and it is showing you where your text is standing. I would like to choose center on page horizontally, and you will see it move there, and vertically. I'm going to tell it OK. Please be aware of this one. It will show up in your examination. Now, when I go File, Print, you will see it is nicely centered both horizontally and vertically within my page. Finally, what you would do, students, is to save your exercise, save as, and we've got to give it its full details. I'm going to put mine on my desktop, which is where I like to work. I'm going to give it the correct name, so let me name mine for myself. There we go, and then once it is there, you would click on Save, and you have renamed and saved your document. Please be aware that once you have followed the instructions in the questions, so this is Excel exercise 2, inserting borders, sorting data, moving sheets, changing page orientation, page size, page margins, layout, that is normal and page layout view, and we had a look at autofill. We have given you an example of when you have finished your activity, what it should look like. So what they did that I didn't do is they put a specific border around South Africa there. And if you can have a look, that's not merged and centered. Only the top one is merged and centered. Students, I hope this was of assistance to you. Thank you. Have a wonderful day, and please come back and watch this video as many times as you need to do. Goodbye.